Welcome back, everyone. One of the nice things about being in this business for so many years is you see society change. And I mean that become more accepting, more understanding, more proactive about things. And one of those areas happens to be mental health and addiction and how they're woven together and what causes it, whatever. I grew up at a time when if you were addicted or something, or if you had a mental health issue, it was, oh God, let's hide that, or well, why can't you tough that out. Well, a lot has changed since then. And joining me today is somebody who's really involved in this topic and heading up an event that's coming up this weekend that we want you to know about. This is Susan McManus, who is the executive director of EAP, Employment Assistance Program. So first, welcome, Susan. Very nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
That's so true, and I'm sure that you would agree with me. The stigma involved with mental health issues, and if, God forbid you were addicted to something. How it was swept under the rug or moved away or never really, valued for its for what it was doing to somebody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And heaven forbid you have both, right? Addiction and mental health problems.
Yes.
Terrible for the individual and the family.
So, toward that end, the Employment Assistance Program, why don't you tell us a bit about that program?
Sure. So Adirondack EAP, we are celebrating our 40th year this year. 40 years serving Warren, Washington, Saratoga counties. And we have businesses in our local counties that contract with us. They recognize the importance of mental wellness and addiction and recovery within the workforce. So when someone is having difficulty, the employee can actually pick up the phone, not let their supervisor know. No one has to know. They can come into us free of charge to the employee, no copay, no wait list. Come on in and talk with us about what's bothering them in life. We can often resolve short-term solution-focused sessions. We can resolve what's going on, or we can assist and navigate the system for the employee and the family member. One of the things we've really been stressing in the past year is how our children, our significant others, the loved ones living in the home with us, including college-age students, they've all been through so much through this COVID crisis. So I really applaud our local businesses for contracting with us because it says they're involved in the well-being of the workforce.
Yes, for sure. Two words come, I've done so many interviews related to the topics that we're talking about, but also related to what happened to people during the pandemic. And as you were going through that, I was thinking about fear and I was thinking about isolation. Those were words that came up. So you have a situation where maybe suffering from some mental situation, and that might be moving you into an addiction, or you might be addicted for whatever reason, and
Right.
the sense that you could reach out to an organization like yours was clouded over by the pandemic because all of a sudden everyone was isolated.
Right.
Did you see that? Did that happen during that time period?
Yeah. Well, we began to see, my theory on mental health is that we're all somewhere on the continuum, right, between mental wellness and mental dis-ease. What the fear and isolation, I love that you use those words, Jesse, what the fear and isolation created in us, it all pushed us further down away from the wellness part of the barometer and further towards feeling uncomfortable. And so people became, their workday changed. Some people were furloughed. The schools were out. The working parent, wow. That was a huge impact. And often for those same working parents, elderly family members that maybe they couldn't provide care for in the home, couldn't visit in the nursing home. You're talking about major life changes that really push you into different coping skills. And if you can't go to the gym, maybe you grab a bottle because all of the liquor stores were open, right? Maybe you grab a bottle instead, or you're feeling isolated and lonely. Maybe you're sliding into some of those maladaptive coping skills. And so we saw, particularly when you couple that with grief through loss of jobs, or grief through loss of loved ones, or fear for your own health and for your loved one and children's health in particular, we saw, yeah, a new level of angst in our community.
Sure did. And if anything would force a conversation then about mental health and addiction, that was it. And that was one of the things that I noticed a lot, Susan, was that on the positive side of this was that it forced this conversation in many ways, right? And all of a
Absolutely.
sudden we found that there were a lot of people, it became part of the conversation, if you will,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, furthering this along, you got an event that's coming up this Friday that really attracted our attention. Brainstorm.
Yep.
I love the name, by the way. It's true, because that's really what it is. In Crandall Park, right here in Glens Falls. Tell us about it. It's a very unique setup.
So we had been doing, I really want to stress the collaboration of people in Warren, Washington, Saratoga counties, and I include our law enforcement, our probation department, treatment providers, family members, people from the recovery community, concerned citizens coming together really at the time of the opiate epidemic, and creating hometowns versus heroin. And these community members had panels, a 5K, resource fairs to say, hey, what's available in our community? As we moved through those events, we decided we shouldn't be siloed. This shouldn't just be about the message of hope for addiction and recovery. We need to look at the mental wellness piece of that as well. And if we're talking about mental wellness, we also need to talk about that mind-body connection of physical wellness. So going into post-COVID, we'd all been meeting and brewing, and all the juices were working together and said, hey, let's do something. Let's create a bigger event and let's push it out post-COVID so we can talk about community, mental wellness, recovery, the hope of addiction, that you can recover from addiction, and the interconnectedness of the whole body for both adults and for children. So we saw COVID as an opportunity to say, let's do something cool. Thus was born Brainstorm. And the subcategory of the event is a Chalk the Walk, which we've been doing the past month, where businesses and individuals in our community have been sending messages of hope with chalk on their pavement. It's a great brainchild of Rebecca Ryan from Warren and Washington Association for Mental Health. And so last week on Friday, we were down at Crandall Library chalking. And this week at our event, our Brainstorm event, will be this Friday, 10 until 2 at Crandall Park. So that's the park on Glen Street, just next door to the Duck Pond, right? We'll be at the bandshell. It runs from 10 until 2. We'll be chalking the walk around Glen Street and up to Fire Road. City of Glens Falls have been fantastic to work with, very supportive of this event. And we'll also be having speakers. There'll be Narcan trainings. Council for Prevention are bringing the big inflatable brain. Who doesn't love an inflatable brain? I mean, that's a really cool thing to come and see, right? We're going to have Tai Chi. We're going to have trauma-informed yoga. There will be a discussion of wellness following the brain-gut connection, which is a very hot topic right now. And our dear friend who's done great recovery work in the community, Brendan Norton, he will be giving a talk on the science of addiction. So, and I think at last count, there were 35 to 40 people tabling. So talk about a resource-rich environment in this community. That's how many people will be there offering services, talking to people who want to come and learn more about their own wellness for a loved one. It's going to be cool.
Too bad you don't feel passionate about it. Jeez, what a shame.
I know. If only I had a little more oomph. That's what everyone tells me.
Well, you rolled that off with such a plumb. I really congratulate you. Of course, you took all my talking points too. I don't know what else to ask, except I do want to cycle back on one thing that I think is important. And you said it toward the end, but that brain-gut connection.
Yes.
That's, and you hear that phrase said more now than I ever heard it before. And also the science of addiction and the idea that there is hope. I mean, that to me always seems to be the centerpiece, that when you lose hope, you really lose just about everything. So
Absolutely.
the idea there, and especially what makes this event, Brainstorm, so important, is that all these people are together. And collectively, that's a lot of hope, by the way, because
really
there are
is.
a lot of services, there are a lot of avenues that you can take, and a lot of things that you can learn. Education is not always, there'll be a quiz in 30 minutes. Education is that real sense of having the information come to you so you're willing to absorb it, accept it, understand it, act on it. These are all important factors, and that's why this event is so cool. You're right,
Absolutely.
this is a very cool event.
It's very exciting.
Oh, without a doubt. I want people again to know there'll be so many vendors there. It's at Crandall Park, not the library park near Crandall Library. It's the Crandall Park, which is next to the YMCA on Upper Glen. The band shell you can't miss. It's right behind the tennis court and basketball courts. And at sidewalk there, that's going to be amazing if you do the chalk work on that.
It'll be beautiful.
Yeah, so at any rate, again, that's 10 to 2?
10 to 2 this Friday.
Okay, all right, Susan. Well, boy, I really applaud you and your organization, all the work you're doing. This is terrific. This is a big undertaking to get all of these organizations together like that. That's really something.
The collaboration has really been so heartening to be part of, because everybody wanted to do something about it. And when we brainstormed, when we put our brains together, we came up with something that I hope is going to be very cool, stigma busting. We always work in our organizations to break the stigma around mental health and recovery issues. And I think it's going to pan out to be pretty cool. We've got some pickup basketball games. There'll be cornhole. I mean, do not miss this event. It's the place to be on Friday.
Good. Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us. And again, the event is called Brainstorm. Boy, that means a lot of things to a lot of people. And it's this Friday, which is the 9th. At Crandall Park, which is near the YMCA on Upper Glen, 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Get over there. So contribute to the well-being of our community. All right, Susan, good. Well, I'll see you Friday because we'll be there for sure.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for the time. I greatly appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, likewise. Take care, Susan.
Bye.